How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're surviving the heat if you're where it's hot and not in the floods where it's flooding. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. But I want to show you a couple things here real quick. I hope this doesn't get too long. So when we get hit with these solar flares, okay, and this comes from the USGS here. This is how the energy, now they'll say it's in the ionosphere and blah, blah, okay, whatever. This is how the energy travels across the earth, and here in the U.S. Sorry about that, but that's part of it. I'll get to it here in a minute. So that's why we see auroras all the way down in here into Texas and then Florida. The Appalachians are always lit up. Their mineral content there is kind of unique compared to a lot of places. But that's usually how the energy flows. And see, we got this little bit here. Okay, so that actually goes back to this I was showing the other day. So here's the center down here, right? Texas, Oklahoma, boom. And then I said we had this little remnant up here. That's the leftover, the remnant, the small, whatever you want to call it, black hole. That's just the remnant of the timeline that we walked. These are the two major timelines going on. So anyway, and I forgot to mention this when I showed this the other day. In the scripture it talks about the earth being destroyed by water, Noah, right? So everything's flooding, lots of rain, blah 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 over here. And it says, the earth will be destroyed by fire next, which that already happened too. Everything in there is history. That's why this part over here is remember I said we've got the two sides. Not only is it the sun facing side and the dark side, it's the two sides right here, okay? So that's just that part. So getting back into, I do want to do one more thing real quick before we get into Dolly and Tim. Okay, so I wanted to bring this one up too, the Pleiades, or that's what everyone knows it as, but I've always known it as the Seven Sisters, okay? And this has to do with the seven-headed beast that, had 10 horns. I've already discussed the horns, what they are, where they're at, in a different video. But the seven, that has to do with the seven continents. It's the remnant of everything, right? These are the other, so man came right out of the ground. Everybody comes right out of the ground. Okay? And these are probably the Seven Sisters right here. That there was a big event. I don't remember how long ago now. I'd have to go way back into my research, but I've got a screenshot of it where the event that week was Mars met the Seven Sisters passing through. So I just want to throw that one in there. So let's get to the full moon, the blood moon that's coming up. Now this thing here says it's going to peak at 11:12, but that's at Central. If you put it on the East Coast, that's now 12:12, right? So there you have mirror, mirror. And I think it being 12 is significant because in the Bible you've got the 12 tribes, right? And then we have the 12 constellations. So I think there's some significance there. Okay, so Dolly and Tim. Oh, God, there's so much going on here. Dolly, D, is the fourth letter of the alphabet. T for Tim is the 20th letter of the alphabet. So, basically, you have a double 10, 4 going on, right? Two tens, and then the 4, which I kind of find it odd that DT also stands for Donald Trump. So, symbolically, I've already talked about the in the video about him snatching and yada. It is what it is. But what I think is significant about that is, so if we go all the way back into March, when we had this parade right here, and the woman went first, and then we had to wait 5 months for this event to happen on the 12th, and then we had the eclipse, right, the wedding ring, okay, with Mars. Okay, so that what took 5 months for these two events to happen actually played out in the span of 24 hours. So that would be like your collapsing timeline. What once took 5 months now only took 24 hours to have happen. And oddly enough, with the stuff that I watch aside from everything else to track the timelines, today is exactly in the minor timeline, I do believe, the exact same day as last Sunday. So instead of going like a full week to Sunday, we just went 3 days. So that part's been cut in half. So what does that mean? Who knows? These are just the things that I see, okay? And then also with them both dying at 80, okay? So to combine, there's one of your 88s, right? That we always talk about, flagpoles, everything else. So there's another 88 for you, because they got married, not literally. This is symbology here, right? Everybody understands that by now. And also, in a countdown, you know, I talked about once, they always say T minus 10, T minus, and when you do it, it actually goes upwards, right? So theoretically, 10 minus 8 leaves 2 days. They died a day apart. If you go 2 days from Dolly's death and 2 days from Tim's death, makes that 27th, 28th, the 2 days involved, depending on what part of the globe you live on, for the blood moon. So, man, I hope I squeezed everything in. I didn't want to I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to cover, which I covered quite a bit compared to normal. But just want to make sure. Oh, and why that's important, taking 5 months to 1 day, is I showed this before. And I said, to me, this is symbolic, because there's your circle, right, of man out of sync. And notice he's on the bottom half of the circle, because like I said, we're an inverted world. If you ever watch any of the Star Trek stuff, they show you there too. One of the very first Star Trek episodes was the menagerie, and somewhere in there they have a film shot of them zooming in from outside the Enterprise to inside the bridge, and the bridge in the original Enterprise sat on top of the saucer section. And if you go to J.J. Abrams, the 3 movies, the minor, right, if you pay attention in that movie, I think it's in the very first one, their bridge is actually on the bottom, and they walk upside down. Like I said, this is an inverted world, but that's just a matter of perspective. So, maybe some more hopeful, good stuff there for the upcoming blood moon, eh? All right. I love everybody. Take care. Stay cool. Like I said, if it's hot, stay dry. If it's super wet, I don't even know what to say about this stuff anymore. But I love you guys. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.